Gentles and ladymen, I'm Spiro, and I'm not a wizard. It's been a long time. I have been in hibernation for the last few months. As you can see, I've just only come out of it. I haven't cleaned my beard this morning. Thanks for sticking by me. Thanks for sticking with the channel and for the comments. I started catching up with them a few weeks ago, trying to figure out what my new focus for my retro computing is going to be. Things just got the better of me over this year. It's just been pretty crazy. I do apologise, but I don't really stick to any schedules anyway. I just kind of make videos when I can be bothered, or when the urge takes me. And when I stopped making my videos was kind of bad timing because Vision Basic had just come out. And I really wanted to make some videos about that, reviewing it, going over it in a bit more depth. I really like it. I think it's a fantastic product. Dennis has put some amazing work into it over the last few years. I just haven't been able to give it the love that it deserves yet. I will, just not yet. So I do want to get back to it, but I've got a lot of other projects on that I've sort of been weighing up. What do I do with them? How do I go forward with them? And I saw a comment on the Fediverse. Someone talked about XCBasic, which I'm actually using the XCBasic plugin on Visual Studio Code, but I was using it for syntax highlighting for Commodore Basic. And yeah, I think I looked at XCBasic and put it on the back burner, and version 3 has been released during my hibernation, or at least I'm aware of a version 3 now, and it's twigged in my brain, and it actually looks really cool. The thing I like about XCBasic is that I can write the code on my modern computer and cross-assemble it, and it will be assembled as well onto the actual Commodore, so onto real hardware or onto the emulators. So that's kind of cool. And the feature that really tweaks my tozzle the most, no line numbers. Having to write longer code and change code around all the time, having to shift and renumber things is kind of problematic for me. So when it comes to basics, I'm going to be focusing on XCBasic. I'd like to do some porting of either stuff I've written, or maybe try and do some type-ins and adapt them, port them over from Commodore Basic to XCBasic, see how that goes. Use that as my learning experience, and see how I go. The other thing that I've been mulling over has been the text adventure engine that I was working on, and I also started writing a game in Puny Inform, which is an Inform compiler that will compile and assemble to Commodore 64s and other 8-bit platforms. And I stumbled across another YouTube series, which was someone making and I forget who, I'm very sorry, but I know that there was at least 2 videos that I stumbled on where they were writing a text adventure in, I think it was called GAC, Graphic Adventure Creator, and that made text adventure games with the ability to display some kind of vector graphics drawing similar to old Sierra games. And so I thought, okay, well, if I'm going to, like, it just kind of lowered the need for me to make, or the desire for me to make my own text adventure engine. And what I think I would like to do is focus on making a text adventure, but doing it in puny inform. One of the developers of puny inform reached out to me through my video and gave me a whole amazing swag of good ideas and feedback and things like that. So I'm gonna try and work on my story and then go back to putting it into puny inform. The other thing, the thing I'm focusing on now myself in the background more immediately, especially since the other day, Bacchus of Fearlight dropped a video on an introductory Vic programming introduction video, and in that, basically it's a beginner's guide on how to start programming the Vic for demo coding. And some of the stuff I've done before, putting sprites on screen, changing raster bars. I've done moving raster bars, although there's a fly has come in. Although the raster bar, I did some moving raster bars that I played with, and they were kind of a little bit glitchy. But I've done it. It's little things that I've played with already. And the one thing that I think was the most critical part of his video for me, I will link it in the description below, because it's a really, really good video. The first half of it is just talking about, introductory to assembly and the Vic, and so some of it you might be able to skip if you know a little bit about the assembly part. Skip forward to learn about the Vic part of it, and then he does some code samples at the end. The critical thing that I think he covered, which my brain always struggles with, was making an ordered list of things that you want to focus on. Learning about interrupts, putting graphics on screen, putting sprites on screen, moving sprites around, just step by step. And it's just something that, you always know, but I don't always follow. So this time around, I'm going to try and follow it a little bit better. And the first thing I'm focusing on is interrupts, doing single interrupts, multi-interrupts, and things like that. Multi-interrupts, as I said, I've done because you're having two raster bars moving on the screen, you've got to do multiple interrupts. So I've gone through a bunch of code samples of people doing interrupts on the C64 and on the Vic, but they all do things a little differently. And then going back to some of the older code that I wrote or adapted or figured out from, I don't know where I got a lot of it from. Some of that is working a little differently to the examples that Bacchus is putting on his video. So I kind of want to get to a point where I can template interrupt requests and interrupt service routines and say, okay, I want to, this block of code or this subroutine does that. When I need it, I'll copy and paste it into my code. That fly's really annoying. That's what I want my current focus to be. So I'll lay that out a bit better in a future video. Hopefully once I've shaved and cleaned up. So this is more to let the fly know that I'm still around. and yeah, let you know as well. You're probably a bit more important. Some things I do want to look at going forward. Maybe, I mean, a lot of the focus is on C64. I've been longingly watching some videos on Amigas and Amiga retro videos on YouTube, and I do miss the Amiga. And it's given me some hankerings, and I've started looking at auctions and going, but I need to focus on one thing at a time. Just take things in order. So there will be more Atari. I think I've done some Atari 8-bit stuff, 1 or 2 videos in the past. I haven't done any Apple II stuff. I bought an Apple II many months ago. Haven't even plugged it in and turned it on yet. I don't have a monitor for it. A few months ago, I picked up a Raspberry Pi 400, and that's running RISC OS on that. Piss off, I'm making a video. The Archimedes computers are also computers I miss. Yeah, I miss a lot of old computers. So, anyway, enough of my rambling for now. Again, thank you. Nice to see you again. And we will see you again soon.